Students, staff and invited guests. You are all very welcome to our annual awards ceremony for 2020. My name is Kieran Casterly and I am the head prefect for 2020-2021. Today is an extremely important day when the school marks the achievements of our students during the last academic year. This year has been a year like no other, and our celebration is like none celebrated before. We would have liked to gather everyone together in the college gym to celebrate, but under the circumstances, we are still delighted to gather in the college chapel today, joined by the entire college community via an online stream into your classroom. The last number of months have been very difficult for all of us in terms of limiting our contact with our friends and not being able to live our lives in the normal way we would like. In the midst of the pandemic, we still have had huge opportunities for creativity and still have had huge moments during the last academic year to give thanks for and celebrate. Today, we celebrate those successes. As we begin, we ask our patron, Bishop Kevin, to lead us in a blessing as we begin our proceedings.
God our Father, we ask your blessing on all our students and on those who have left in the past year, and in a particular way today on those whom we honour for their engagement and for their achievements. We give thanks for the gifts of creativity, critical thinking, commitment and service. Thank you also for their openness to exploring new possibilities and new challenges. We give you thanks for the many ways in which the college and its staff have been able to work in partnership with families for the good of young people during this past year. As you continue to journey with them, Lord, we ask you now to give them wisdom through your Holy Spirit, to discern what is right and good, true and just. Help them to draw upon the experience of yesterday as they respond to the questions and concerns of tomorrow. Grant that our present students may continue to grow through their experience of life here in the college, and that those who have moved on from here may have the energy and the generosity of spirit, which will allow them in the years ahead to work with others to build a society which is firmly rooted in fraternity and social friendship. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Bishop Doran, and thank you, Kieran, for that introduction. To begin proceedings formally, can I please call upon our Principal, Mr. Paul Keogh, to address the school community.
Bishop Kevin, Reverend Father online, staff, students and guests. It is my pleasure on behalf of the senior management team here in the college to welcome you to the College of the Immaculate Conception, Summerhill, for our annual awards ceremony for 2020. Today is one of the main highlights in our school calendar, when we take time to celebrate all that is good and positive in the life of our school. It is a time when we honour the many achievements of our students, past and present, but also the uniquely gifted contribution our school makes locally and nationally. This year, our ceremony takes place in a certainly new environment and in a new way of doing things. And although we wish, like days gone by, we could gather everyone in the gym, we're delighted to have the technology and the ICT infrastructure to stream this to all our staff and students in the college community. We welcome today in a particular way our past pupil and guest speaker, Dr. Joseph Duffy, who has taken the time to travel from Dublin to be with us. Last but not least, I welcome the heroes of the day, our award recipients, those present today and those who received their medal in advance of this ceremony. Gentlemen, we're extremely proud of you and your achievements, your dedication to your study, your chosen sport, your pastime and your voluntary work, all of which is truly inspirational. You are what makes Summerhill great, and we are indebted to each and every one of you. When the school closed last March, all of us had to make drastic changes to our daily lives. As Kieran said at the beginning, this brought many challenges, but it also presented many opportunities. The most memorable moment I had over the weeks leading up to the conclusion of our previous academic year was when we were in the middle of the webinar series, and a student emailed me and asked me if he could attend one of the webinars on business studies. He said he didn't take the subject, but he just wanted to attend. I replied, thanked him for his email, and encouraged him to sign up for the webinar. This moment hasn't left me since. Someone wanted to learn for the sake of learning. I was astounded, proud, and found a new level of energy to keep me going until the end of the school year. In the midst of a very challenging time, again, our students inspired and encouraged all in the community to keep going. Since reopening, all in the school community have again shown immense generosity. All of you have made huge sacrifices to mind those in your family who may be vulnerable, and you have adapted to the new way in which our school operates. In the midst of a very difficult situation, you all have shown leadership, resilience, and most importantly, compassion. For this, we thank and commend you. Each person in our school is uniquely gifted and talented. You may not be aware of your gift or talent yet, hence why you need the encouragement of others to help you realise it and encourage you to fulfil your mission and your purpose, which I have no doubt can be powerful and challenging. Although only some are chosen for awards, all of our students are uniquely gifted, and we encourage all in this school to develop their unique potential. Today, as a school community, we unite and give thanks. We give thanks for the many people who support, challenge, and inspire us to be the best that we can be. In a particular way, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the staff of our school who give countless amounts of extra hours into supporting the development of you, our students. Finally, before I conclude, I would like to thank Mr. Neshi David and all involved in putting this special occasion together. Your work in promoting the many positive aspects of our school life is very much appreciated. Today we are delighted to welcome back Dr. Joseph Duffy, a native of Sligo Town, who attended here Summerhill College across the road from 1982 to 1989. Dr. Duffy has been the CEO of Jigsaw, the Centre for Youth Mental Health, since 2016. He's over 25 years' experience as a qualified clinical psychologist and has worked in the area of mental health, managing and delivering services across all age groups and within institutional and community settings. He began his career as a clinical psychologist with the Department of Justice, the Irish Prison Service. Here he worked with long-term serious offenders for almost 10 years. He held senior positions with the Psychology Society of Ireland and the Granada Institute. He joined Jigsaw in 2011 as the Director of Clinical Services and then as the CEO. He's a board member of the Mental Health Reform and sits on the advisory board of the Irish Probation Journal. We are really honoured that Dr. Duffy has returned to Summerhill to join us for the awards ceremony today, and I invite him to come forward now to address us. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's an amazing experience to be here after 32 years. I think when I was giving my short bio to the principal, to Paul, I added on a year. I left here in '88, but I probably in my mind think I was here longer. Which is a tribute, I think, a tribute to Summerhill. Summerhill now is so different than it was when I was here. Obviously, we spent a fair bit of our time crossing the road between the old buildings and the new buildings, and the idea of having a new building now, that building was built in '69, the year I was born, and that building is no longer here. There was borders, there was a swimming pool, it was a very different world. I'm a twin, as one of the former teachers commented earlier on. And Sean, my older brother Martin, was here, but people tend not to remember Martin. They remember myself and Sean because we were about 6 foot at the age of 13, so we stood out. And standing out in a school at that time, being tall, if you're anyways different, you stand out. I suppose in my teenage years, I wasn't a rebel. I was quiet, I was dependable, I was steady, all those things that fellow teens would look down on, but teachers and parents love, And I suppose my time here in Summerhill, I have very fond memories of particular teachers, of Father Early, who became Canon Early, who taught me business organisation. He was a man who knew a huge amount about the world and was very kind to young men who thought they knew more about the world than he did. I also remember Mrs. Manning, who taught us English and had a love of reading and writing well. And there was just so many teachers who had that dedication. I remember one of the teachers, a woodwork teacher, said to me one day, he said, "You'll go far if you keep your wits about you." And I was thinking, when you think back at it now in terms of that sort of advice in coming to it. But to be honest, my last year in Summerhill was, my best year in Summerhill was my last one. I repeated the Leaving Cert. And the idea was that I would get more points to do commerce in Galway. But it didn't work out like that. I really enjoyed the year because I got at that stage to choose my own subjects. I was able to decide what I wanted to keep, what I wanted to hold on to. The system was quite a bit different. You could amalgamate a few Leaving Certs. And I suppose because I got on well with Father Early, I was thinking business was where I would wanted to go. But looking back now, for me, that year was the making of me. Up to that time, we were regarded, I suppose, for most of my life, I was looked on as one of the Duffys or one of the twins. And we were on a school tour once, and one of the teachers was checking the list to see was everybody there, and she went Duffys by 2. And that sense of where is your own identity was something that really stayed with me. It's probably why I ended up being a psychologist. But I think that year in Summerhill allowed me to have my own friends, to be seen as my own identity. My 2 brothers were no longer here. And it was a fantastic experience. One of the things we were encouraged to do at the time, particularly with some of the boarders, was get involved in community activities. And we were involved in different activities, and one of them that led to working in St. Anne's Youth Club as a youth leader. So I participated in that, really enjoyed it, running the summer project. Then I began there as a leader during the week when I was in my Leaving Cert here, and I also had a job. So I was really delighted with myself and really busy to be doing a lot of different things. But I think that my time in St. Anne's really helped me to understand that there's a whole different world out there, and also to understand that there was a profession called youth work. So I decided I wasn't going to do commerce, I was going to do youth work. And there was a really wonderful youth leader there, Jackie Leonard, who inspired me to think about the University of Ulster in Jordanstown, that had a very good youth work course. But this was 1988, and in 1987, some of you who are my vintage in the room will remember there was a bombing in Enniskillen, a very significant, very sad occasion. And my parents didn't want me to go to Belfast, but actually I persisted and they quietly supported me in terms of doing that. So I decided, I went to Belfast. After the first year, I got an opportunity to study psychology, and I reckoned if I did psychology, I could come back to youth work, but if I did youth work, you couldn't go into psychology. So that's what I did. So in the third year, we got to do a placement, and I decided I wanted to become a clinical psychologist. And I was thinking, who is he in the early 90s thinking, what is clinical psychology and what does he want to do? But clinical psychology is using psychology to help people who have problems, usually mental health problems. So I worked in London for a couple of years to get experience. I got a place on the doctorate in clinical psychology in Trinity. And as Paula said, I worked in the prison service for about 10 years. I really enjoyed that experience. But after that, I wanted to do something a bit different. So I did a master's in business. So the Father Early piece was still there in my head. So I did an MBA. And I worked in the community, I worked in the Granada Institute, and then in 2011 we were closing that, and I saw an opportunity for a job in an organisation called Headstrong at the time. It's now called Jigsaw. And that was a community-based mental health service for young people aged 12 to 25 that was just starting out. And I suppose what attracted me to it is knowing that 75% of mental health problems occur before the age of 18. So we know, in terms of looking and thinking about our young people and thinking about all of you and all of you who are looking at this in your classrooms today, it's a really, really significant time for young people. We also know over the last maybe 20, 30 years that adolescence is beginning earlier and that the journey into adulthood is ending later. So all of the services that we had, the mental health services in Ireland that existed at that time, were weakest where they needed to be strongest. We had services that finished at the age of 16 and didn't take up then until the age of 18, and that young people who had the most significant problems tended to get lost in between. So we developed an organisation. I came to it about 4 years after it had been established. So the organisation was developed to try to address some of those issues, and we're still the only organisation on these islands that supports young people aged between 12 and 25. What's, I suppose, uniquely about it is that we're focusing on the early intervention and prevention. The idea that we can intervene early in schools like here, we can intervene in communities, we can support people to support other people. And one of the key themes we have is one good adult or one good teacher. And we've done a lot of work over time with Mary Haw and the education centres to support teachers to be able to teach the whole pupil that was there, that's here in front of us. So I think it's hugely important now. While we don't have a direct service in Sligo, we have a lot of supports online that are available to every young person in Ireland, and the eventual aim is to develop more Jigsaw services around the country. It's unique in that there is, you don't need a referral from a doctor. You can walk in yourself, you can ring up yourself, you can seek to be referred yourself. Our highest referrers are parents, followed by young people, followed by a GP, which is really unique for a mental health service to be able to have that accessibility for young people. I suppose one of the things that really attracted me to Jigsaw was having worked with long-term offenders and can see the damage that's done over years and years when people don't get the help or can't get the help, or using alcohol or drugs or other issues to help and support them that they think is going to help and support them, but in actual fact is causing more problems. I think when I reflect and thinking about, what have I learned along the way, there's lots of, I suppose, really realising that you're continuously learning. You might think, well, when I finish in Summerhill, that's my learning done, or if I go to college, I go to university, that's my learning done. But the reality is that you continue to learn, and I think that love of learning, as your principal mentioned there about a student looking to take part in a webinar, if you can continue to hold that, it means I think you're going to have a very enriched life. I think it's also really important in terms of when you're thinking about, it might take a while to find out who you are, who you might want to love in the world, and what your place might be in the world. I think for most of my time in Summerhill, I think some of it was down to me, but we probably weren't at that time in the 80s seen as individuals. We were seen as classes or groups of pupils. There was a system, whether it's still there, in terms of streaming. So there was a sense that the more academic subjects had one set of pupils, and those who were better with their hands had another set of pupils. Myself and my brother chose to do woodwork, so we were bang in the middle. We were class 105, so we went up to about 108 or 109. And when I look back on it now, I can see that was a bit of separation in terms of doing it, but there was probably less expectations of the class. But I think actually, when we think about it, it's really important in terms of having maybe the same expectations of everybody. And there might be different expectations, but to have those expectations of people. What I hope today, I suppose, looking at the large school Summerhill is that you're encouraged to be yourself, and at least some of the times being seen as individuals. In my work in Jigsaw, so many young people say, most adults ask us, what are you going to be, rather than how are you? I think it's a hugely subtle difference in terms of saying to somebody, how are things going for you now, not what are you going to be like in the future, or what's your future going to be like. It's really important in terms of connecting, I suppose, connecting in terms of the here and now. But what I also see, and I suppose in terms of the invitation here today as an example of that, is a generation not just of young people your age, but of my age, recognising the importance of mental health and well-being, and not afraid to embrace diversity, equality, and to look at the differences that are there, and to recognise the importance of treating people as individuals and treating people, encouraging and challenging them. One of the ideas that we have within Jigsaw, I referred to it a little bit earlier on, is the concept of one good adult. So we've done a lot of research with UCD, and what we looked at was, what are the factors that protect young people's mental health, and what are the factors that might make their mental health more difficult. Those young people who succeed more or are mentally coping well have a good adult in their life. So that is somebody who they can go to, they can talk to, somebody who might challenge them, somebody who looks out for them. That might be your mother, your father, it might be your brother, it might be a teacher, it might be a coach. And what we've done a lot, when particularly working with teachers, is helping adults to be that adult, to be that good adult for other young people in their lives. And I think it's a hugely important piece, because what we've learned over the years is that we're continually telling young people to seek help. It's okay not to be okay, to look for the help. But adults actually need to build their own confidence to be able to support young people. And once they're able to do that, you match up the two things really, really well. So what I would say, I suppose, here is continuing in terms of that role that we have as good adults. You'll be good adults yourselves some days, and it's really important in terms of being able to have the confidence in terms of doing that. As has been mentioned earlier, this year has taught us again that the world is a very much an unpredictable place. We can only control so much, but what we can do is look out for one another. So thank you again for the opportunity, and thank you for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Duffy, for those words. I suppose I find it interesting that you say that you repeated, and that's when you found yourself. Exactly the same experience I had here was my best year at school as well, back in 1998. And I think it's reassuring for our students to hear that even though they can be that age and not quite sure of the direction that they want to take, that if they have some perseverance and some will to learn, that they can indeed follow a pathway and find their way. And I think it's extraordinary and inspirational, the journey that you have made coming from our town to the level that you have reached and the difference that you have made to young people all over the country in your years in clinical psychology. So thanks again for being here. We really do appreciate it. We'll move on to our awards ceremony now, and I would ask Dr. Duffy if you could just stand up to the side of the altar to present the first set of awards. So our awards to be presented during the ceremony will be for the main categories in junior and senior cycle. A video will be played at the very end of today's proceedings, which will show the awards that were received last week for the other students. So we begin by presenting the awards for the best junior cert results. In what ended up being a very strange end to the year for our junior cert students, there were some excellent results awarded. But the award for the student who received the best results in the school assessment report for 2020 is a truly exceptional young man. He took first place in the IMTA Maths Regional Final in first year, was a member of the runner-up team in the regional Sci-Fest competition at Sligo IT, and was also a member of the Sligo Academy of Music Senior Orchestra and Symphonic Waves Youth Orchestra. The winner of the best junior cert results for 2020 is Jacob Hamilton. So our next award is the most prestigious award Summerhill College can bestow on any junior student, that of Summerhill College Junior Student of the Year. Throughout his time at Summerhill, the winner has made a significant contribution to the life of the school. He has been a tutor captain with the Student Council, junior deputy chairperson of the Green Schools Committee, and has assisted the school's enrolment evening. He has taken part in numerous charity events, the Team Hope Shoebox Appeal, the school bake sale in aid of Throcora, and he's been part of the school choir, singing at numerous school events and for the staff and residents of Nazareth House. The young man has been part of the school's football team, is a member of his local GAA team, and even finds the time to referee underage matches in his club. He plays guitar and banjo and is working towards Grade 8 award in piano with the Royal Irish Academy of Music. He is part of the traditional Irish music group in school and has written and recorded his own songs. He has won awards throughout his time at Summerhill, and today he receives the most prestigious award for a junior cycle student. And he also got 10 distinctions and 1 higher merit in his junior cert. The winner is Dara McDonough. Our next two awards go to two students who follow different programmes in school. The first award goes to a student in transition year who really immersed himself in the transition year programme and achieved excellent results throughout his time in transition year. The transition year student of the year is Owen Griffin. The next award goes to the LCA Student of the Year, a young man with enormous potential and who we are very proud of. The LCA Student of the Year is Adam Fox. Thank you, Dr. Duffy. If I could ask Bishop Doran to present the next set of awards. So the next award is the Spirit of Summerhill Award. This award is presented to a member of each class group to highlight the contribution they have made to being doers of the word as per the college motto. As you all know, last year our senior students excelled themselves in the sporting field, reaching the A final in Gaelic football and winning the Connacht Senior Soccer title. Indeed, for the month preceding lockdown, I seemed to spend every second day on a bus with fans as we travelled across Connacht supporting the team, and I was doing my very best on those bus journeys to encourage them that referees were always fair and that it was pointless giving out to them. I remember having a conversation with the recipient of this award towards the end of the year, and it occurred to me that the journey that both he and his team went on really summed up some of the qualities that we wish to instil in Summerhill students. This young man played for the school soccer team every year he was a student in Summerhill. They never managed to get over the line and win a trophy, and early in his career this young man would not have been considered one of the best players on the team. But with sheer determination, resilience and perseverance, not only did the team win, but this award winner was an integral part of that team, and indeed he was the team's captain. It is a pleasure to welcome him back today to both receive his award and present the cup to Mr. Keogh. The Spirit of Summerhill Award goes to Daniel Gray Harrigan. Just get your medal, Daniel. So our penultimate sports award is for our Athlete of the Year. The winner of this award receives a magnificent trophy kindly donated by Brigadier General Jerry Hegarty. This year's award winner is a truly remarkable talent and has excelled consistently on the national stage. In the last 12 months alone, he's become the National Under-19 Cross-Country Champion, the National Senior Schools Cross-Country Champion, and as recently as August 2020, he became the National Under-20 5,000 metres Track Champion. He's a truly exceptional talent, has a huge future ahead of him, and we are very, very proud of all his achievements. The winner is Michael Morgan. So the next award goes to our Sports Person of the Year, and the winner has represented both soccer and Gaelic teams since first year. During his time in Summerhill, he has played in 6 Connacht GAA finals and played in many finals in soccer and was a member of the Connacht Senior Soccer winning team last year. This young man... Skip a page. Such is the talent and dedication of this young man that he has represented Sligo for a number of years and was county minor captain last year, following on from captaining numerous Summerhill teams. He is no stranger to winning awards at this ceremony, and today he is crowned Sports Person of the Year, Mr. Oren McDonough. Our next award is the John Curley Award for Science, which was kindly donated by Abbott on behalf of the Curley family to remember the late John Curley. It is awarded to a student at junior cert level who has a passion for science and works to the best of his ability in this area. The winner of this award has not only excelled in the area of science, but in all his subjects with an outstanding junior cert, winning his second award of the day, Jacob Hamilton. Our next award is the John Count McCormick Award for Arts and Entertainment and is awarded to a student who has excelled in this area. The recipient is chosen by those involved in the area of arts in the school and usually requires some robust debate given the standards of our students in this area. The winner is an extremely talented and versatile musician, proficient in a number of instruments, including violin, trombone, guitar, and bass guitar. At a very young age, he demonstrated an exceptional ability in music, and by the age of 14, had already completed grade 8 in violin, receiving a distinction. Throughout his years of completing Royal Irish Academy of Music exams, he was the recipient of a High Achievers Award 6 times. This award is only given to the top 1% of the 40,000 students who sit the exams each year. By the age of 16, he had completed grade 8 in trombone and was one of only 3 trombonists nationally selected for the Symphonic Waves Youth Orchestra. This young man is not only an exceptional performing musician, he also shows leadership qualities. He is the band leader of both the Sligo Academy of Music Sinfonietta Orchestra and Jazz Orchestra, performing across Ireland and internationally, in Amsterdam, Prague and New York. He has been featured soloist on a number of occasions with Sligo Baroque Orchestra and has performed with Michael Rooney's Folk Orchestra at the launch of Sligo European Volunteering Capital in 2017. He has not only performed in countless musicals and Kieran Quinn theme nights, but also arranges and writes musical parts for the evenings. He is currently the chairperson of the Kieran Quinn Theme Night Committee and is also MC for the year. In addition to all these musical roles, he has always proudly performed with the Summerhill College Jazz Ensemble, Choir and Music Ministry team. He is not only a wonderful addition to any musical ensemble, but he is a humble, trustworthy, polite and caring young man. Bishop Kevin will present the John Count McCormick Award for 2020 to the outstanding Eddie Fitzpatrick. Thank you, Bishop Doran. The next award is the Father John Leog Ethos Award, and I will call upon Mrs. Mary Hawk to say a few words about the origins of the award before Mr. Keogh presents it.
Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to be here again to present this award on behalf of my brother, Reverend John Leog. John was a pupil here in Summerhill College many, many years ago. 1972, he came here as a first year, and he passed away in 2016. But he wasn't just a pupil here, he was also a priest in the diocese. And I suppose John always spoke so fondly of his memories of Summerhill College when asked why he ended up being a priest in this diocese, no more than Dr. Duffy this morning. He could name people like Canon Early and other people who made a huge difference in his life, and that they were the reason why he became a priest in this diocese. And John, while he was alive, I suppose always tried to embody the Catholic ethos. And when we used to ask him about, what he was really passionate about, there was 2 things he was passionate about, I suppose, in particular. One was education. He was fiercely always interested in what was happening in education, what was happening with Summerhill College, what my own children and sons and daughters were doing, and all his nieces and nephews. And he was a passionate reader and had a huge interest in history. His other passion was his faith. And I suppose we were very lucky before John died, because we got a chance to spend a lot of time with him in his long illness and to ask him, things that he had learned and things that he thought were very important. And it was some of the things that Dr. Duffy said here today that resonated very clearly with me. John believed in the dignity of every human being. And he believed that every single human being had within them the gifts of our Lord, and that those gifts would help every human being to do the best they could on a daily basis, and that's all that was asked of any of us. He also believed in our human frailty, and he also believed that at times we needed help, and that it was a great strength to be able to look for help and to seek help. And I suppose it's one of the things I'd urge you to hear what Dr. Duffy said this morning, is that, there are so many adults around you, your parents, your grandparents, your teachers, all of your coaches and people who really care about you. So at any stage, if you feel that things are getting a little tough or a little difficult or a little stressful, particularly in these times, not to be afraid to ask for help. We certainly discovered after John died that he had been that one good adult for an awful lot of people in his life, because we got thousands and thousands of cards and letters from people around the world who told us about how well he listened to them and how much he had helped them. So I'm going to just give you a little quote, a quote that was very dear to him and that we were presented with after he died. Everyone has inside them a piece of good news. The good news is that you really don't know how great you can be, how much you can love, or what you can accomplish and what your potential is. And any of you who know your English will know that that comes from the Diary of Anne Frank. So, just to say to you, every one of you have huge potential inside of you, and all you have to do at the end of every day is see, did you do some good today? And remember, that good could be the smile that you pass to someone else, your mum, the help you give them putting away the groceries without them having to ask you, or the word of encouragement you give to your fellow students here. I'm delighted today to be presenting this award to Mr. Tommy McManus, who also was a past pupil of this school, but also was a friend of John's and someone that I worked closely with down through a number of years. And I know that he embodies all of this similar ethos. He saw the potential in every single student he worked with in this school, and he always was there to listen to students, to teachers and to parents. So it gives me a great, I really feel privileged and honoured to be presenting the award to Mr. McManus today.
Thank you, Mary. It's wonderful to have the Leog family associated with this Ethos Award, and as already outlined, the award is conferred on either a student of the college, a parent of currently enrolled student, a staff member past or present, or a past student, and they must have contributed in a particular fashion to the Catholic ethos of the college as expressed in its mission statement and motto, be ye doers of the word. This year the school has chosen from the nomination received Mr. Tommy McManus. Tommy is, in many ways, Mr. Summerhill. Originally from French Park in County Roscommon, even though we won't hold that against him, he came to Summerhill as an 11-year-old when he won a scholarship, and while here he excelled as a student academically. He was in Summerhill for over 50 consecutive years, or continuous years. In the middle of those, he spent 4 years doing a degree in HDIP in University College Galway. Tommy was an innovative, committed and enthusiastic science teacher who supported, encouraged and created huge interest and enthusiasm for his subject, especially physics. His competence as a teacher and a physicist was recognised by the Department of Education and the State Examination Commission, which promoted him to be an advisory examiner. Tommy has a huge interest in sport, especially GAA. As a coach here in the college, he emulated the success he had as a student. Outside of the school, he was very involved in the local community of Carrow, St John's and Sligo GAA. And this was recognised at a national level when he received the President's Award for his contribution to sport and his local community. His commitment to the college was recognised when he was appointed Deputy Principal and subsequently as Principal. With the support of his wife Maura, the staff, his deputy Miss Margaret Dowd and the Board of Management, Tommy led significant change in our school at a time when change was badly needed, and this was welcomed with huge enthusiasm. One of the keys to his success was his wonderful ability to know and remember so many people, parents, past pupils and families from all over Sligo and the diocese. Tommy was always able to call on the goodwill of so many because he had helped them in their lives, on the field, in the classroom and elsewhere. For many past pupils, including myself, Tommy is also remembered as the supplier of necessary food at break times, such as cream buns, apple slices and wagon wheels. Along with his wife Maura, he kept students, like myself, very well fed and happy for a long time. In more recent years, since his retirement from the college, Tommy is the organiser of the Summerhill Retired Teachers. He hosts monthly meetings, updates the retirees on news from the school, whether they be happy or sad. For so many staff and past pupil, Tommy exemplifies everything that is good about Summerhill, a school that has at its heart a caring Christian ethos that fosters both kindness and excellence. Today, as a school community, we are absolutely delighted to present the John Lee Oak Award for 2020 to Mr. Tommy McManus.
Thanks for I might be only 5'6.5", but at the moment I feel more like 6'5" after Paul's kind words. Bishop Kevin, Dr. Duffy, and guests. It's a great honour for me to receive this award. When Paul rang me last week, the week before, I was shocked. Not just because of the award, but because of who it was in honour of. John, as his sister Mary said, had been a friend of mine. I knew him as a pupil, not too well because he didn't play sport, wasn't in my physics class. But later on, John came back on the staff of the college teaching in 1989, and he was a young priest by the age of the staff in the college and by the staff age at that time. But John, in staff meetings, stood out. He always spoke the right words. He stood up for what was right always. And I will always remember him for that. On, I think, the last occasion I met John was at a funeral at a neighbour of mine in my hometown in French Park, where John came from the other end of Roscommon to be at the funeral of a pupil who had been in the class with him of his mother. And it showed the nature of the man. To think that the committee that chose this, that makes the decision on this award, chose me, is a big honour to me. As Paul said there are many people I would like to thank for helping me through this, especially my wife Maura and family, but also the many staff members, especially the Deputy Margaret Dowd, who served with me during my time as principal. Without Margaret, not alone would I have not survived the job. I wouldn't be here today. But there's another person on the college staff that is the epitome of the ethos of Summerhill, and that's Marie Ward. Marie is the welcoming face, the welcoming voice when you ring up or when you call to the school. She never seems to get flustered, and is there for everybody, student, staff, whoever. And I'd like to thank her for her help down through the years. Long before I became principal or deputy principal, Marie was always there, whether it was helping to organise buses for matches or anything else. She was always there. What is ethos? Well, it's described as characteristic spirit. Now, there's a characteristic spirit in Summerhill, and it's different to other schools, at least. How would I know? Because I've never taught in any other school, really. But people who have taught in other schools have told me this. There is a mutual respect, friendliness between staff and students. Now, it's different to other schools. And I just said to Dr. Duffy before this began that one of the great things in my life is when I meet past pupils and they'll stop and say hello and have a chat about old times. That's what makes 40 years and a day that I was credited with working in Summerhill well worthwhile. Summerhill is a great place and continues to be a great place under Paul's leadership and is expanding all the time. To the present students, Summerhill has changed a lot from my time, but it still has the same great heart about it, and long may it continue to do so. Another thing, Mary John Leog's sister, presented this award. Now, Mary has been very helpful to me when I was principal, giving staff in service on various topics, and it's an extra pleasure, if you like, to have her presenting the award. So thank you, Mary, and thanks to everybody else.
Thank you, Tommy. Mr. Keogh reminded me in the speech about the time in the tuck shop. That's where things started to go wrong for me when you took over. It's worth saying just to the students, if you're wondering what a life of dedication and service looks like, and you're looking at the impact that it has on a person and how that person has impacted literally thousands of people around this town, then you just saw it. The word hero is seldom used correctly. Mr. McManus is a hero of this school to all the students and staff who were here in his time. So thank you very, very much, Tommy, and it's very, very well deserved. We move to the last few awards now. Mr. Keogh will present these awards. They are for the best Leaving Cert results and the Student of the Year. So, unusually, we have joint winners of the best results in the Leaving Cert Award. The first winner has been an exceptional student throughout his time in Summerhill. His junior cert results in maths and science meant he was selected for the Maths and Science Olympiads the following year. He has gone on to study medicine at Trinity College, having come in the top 9% of the students who took the HPAD exams to secure that place. He's played tennis to a very high level and has represented Connacht at interprovincial level on numerous occasions, and he has qualified for the national finals individually 4 times. He has also won an All-Ireland Life-Saving Medal and plays piano to a high level, winning cups and awards at different fêtes. He also got 625 points in his Leaving Cert. He's an outstanding student and an outstanding young man. The first award winner for the best Leaving Cert results goes to Conor Walsh. The second award winner is an equally outstanding student. His junior cert results were among the very, very best in the country. He also achieved 625 points in his Leaving Cert and was awarded 8 H1 grades, having taken on extra subjects. He's been awarded a highly prestigious Naughton Scholarship worth over €20,000 over the duration of his time in university, and he is now studying maths at Trinity College. The second recipient of the best results in the Leaving Cert Award goes to Niall O'Donovan. So just before we present the final award, I am conscious of time, and I would just ask that teachers in 5th and 6th year, teachers on all floors, keep students in the classroom they're currently in just while we conclude the ceremony. So our final award is the most prestigious award Summerhill can bestow on any student, that of Summerhill College Student of the Year. And to announce the award winner here will be Miss Murphy, and the award will be presented by Dr. Duffy.
It's my great pleasure to announce this award. Pleasant, polite, diligent, hardworking, honest, reliable, conscientious, unassuming and gentlemanly are all words commonly used to describe the recipient of this year's Summerhill College Senior Student of the Year Award. This young man, who epitomises what it is to be a true Summerhill man, Throughout his time in Summerhill, he was the living embodiment of our college motto, "Be doers of the word." As a student, he worked hard, actively participated in class, and always gave of his best. This paid off when he achieved 522 points in his Leaving Cert this summer, in addition to being ranked top of his Leaving Cert class in Ag Science, Biology and LCVP. Not surprisingly, he is currently studying Environmental Science in NUI Galway. Academics are just one aspect of his time here in Summerhill College, as he enthusiastically immersed himself in extracurricular activities throughout his 6 years, always the first to volunteer. He became involved with the Green Schools as a junior student, helping out with litter picks, fundraising and awareness campaigns. From the outset, he was an innovative member of the Green Schools Committee, researching and spearheading a number of initiatives, including the planting of a woodland of 200 native sapling trees on the school grounds. Much of this work was done over his midterm break. He was a mentor to younger students involved in Green Schools, generously sharing his knowledge, expertise, and most importantly, his time. He went on to become chairman of the committee and was instrumental in Summerhill College achieving its first green flag in over a decade. During this time, he also represented the college as chairperson of the Sligo Tidy Towns Schools Committee. As a member of the Student Council, he represented the student voice in the college. He was elected Secretary of the Council 3 years running and was influential in redrafting the Council's constitution, including making presentations on students' behalf to both college staff and the Board of Management. In 5th year, he was selected as a Senior Prefect, supporting and mentoring first-year students, helping out at information evenings, open nights and various college events, always an outstanding ambassador for the college. And did I mention he also found time to be manager of the school bank in TY. This exceptional young man, without a doubt, is a doer of the word, an outstanding role model for all of us. This year's worthy recipient of our Summerhill College Senior Student of the Year, Stephen Ryan.
Well done, Stephen. So just to say finally, thank you and congratulations to all the winners, and we wish you all every success in the future. I would now ask our Head Prefect, Kieran Casterly, to make a small presentation to our guest of honour, Dr. Joseph Duffy. And finally, just to say again, many thanks to Mr. Daffin and his team for putting together today's awards ceremony, and to Mr. Donnelly and his team for having the stream ready for us. There's a short online video that will follow this, the conclusion of this ceremony. So thank you for your time, and well done again to all the winners. Thank you.
You're very welcome to the final part of today's ceremony, and these are the additional awards from class groups and other activities. We'd start off with the Student of the Year for first year, and these awards went to Ronan Hensey, Jack Keaveney and Conor McGoldrick. Also we had James Burke, Conor Flynn and Francis Donoghue. Finally in that section, Abu Ahmed, Danny Woodrow and David Evans. Next up, it's the Spirit of Summerhill Award for first year, and these awards went to Martin Viglas, Killian McShane, Cormac McGowan and Robbie Gillese. Also in that section, we had Daniel Rattigan, Thibaut Gerard, Jack Henry and Shane Gettins. Next, it's the second year Student of the Year, and these are Tom Murphy, Tom Gallagher, Adam O'Callaghan and Lorcan Feeney. More second year Students of the Year were Joseph McCaughey, Finn Mitchell, Thomas Lee and Lewis Carr. For the Spirit of Summerhill Award for second year, we had Eli Rooney, Daniel Sproul, Matthew McGuinn and Jude Gia. Also in that section, Darren Quinn, Matthew Mulholland, Dara McDaniel and Darwin Thomas. Next we have a number of Junior Cycle Sports Awards, starting with Aaron Lang for first year Gaelic, Rian O'Callaghan for second year basketball, Ronan O'Connor for under 14 rugby and Michael Carroll for hurling. We also have Ronan Nyland for juvenile Gaelic, Marcus Devons for cycling, Finian Howard for kayaking, Zach Gilligan for under 15 soccer and Paddy Murphy for first year soccer. And the final Junior Cycle Sports Awards for today are Cathal Hughes for equestrian, Mark Nugent for first year basketball, Oren Costello for sailing and finally Auden Padden for badminton. Next up we have the Senior Cycle Subject Awards, and these went to Saul Harrison for art, Leo Mullaney for music, Aidan Kelly for history, Cormac Nyland for Spanish, Kyle Conlon for religion. Jaron Roy received the accounting award, Matthias Vitlevovich for maths, Luke Casserly for Irish, Rowan Elliott for English, Ronan Flynn for construction studies. Also John Cairns for biology, Samuel Buick for politics, Sam McDermott for physics and Oisin Davey for DCG. And finishing off that section, it's Dean Osborne for chemistry, Ethan Ford for home economics, Stephen Doyle for business, Oscar Mulligan for economics and Oren Layden for French. We also had Cian Connell for ag science, Sean Torsney for geography, Darren Maguire for engineering and Mohammed Usman Naveed for LCVP. Next up, it's the Senior Cycle Sports Awards, and these were won by Thomas Moran for the under-16 basketball, Canis Mulligan for junior Gaelic, Cathal Morahan for junior rugby, and Samuel Gregory for surfing. More awards in that section were Rian Gorman for senior soccer, we had Sean McAteer for under-17 soccer, Ronan Kilcoyne for swimming, and Matthew Ballantyne for sailing. Finn Young won the senior rugby and Michael Morgan for athletics, and also Ben Garvey for senior basketball. Next up we have the National Junior Enterprise Award winners, and these were Patrick Donlan, Mark Waldron, Ben O'Loughlin and Thibaut Gerard. In transition year, the Northwest winners of Smart Money Challenge were Rory Sweeney, Ben Garvey and Jeffrey Hession. The runners-up were Hugo Phelan, Danny Cronin and Sean Clifford. In transition year Generation Euro semi-finalists, these were Danny Cronin, Cormac Feeney and Sean Clifford. The Best Marketing Enterprise Awards were for Conor Leonard, James Burns and Conall Kennedy. For the Student Enterprise Awards next, these were for Liam Gilligan, Cathal Fitzpatrick and Conor Stinson. Those that achieved European Parliament Junior Ambassador status were Pádraig Cawley, Eamon Feehily, Cormac Fahey, Peter Meehan and Ross Monaghan. Also in that section, Ryan O'Leary, Finn DeBee, Danny Cronin and Cormac Feeney. We also had Thomas Scanlon, Cormac Heenahan, Finn Raftery and Sean Clifford. Next was the Skills at Work course, and the recipients here were Conor Kane, Jamie Kilfeather, Rory Canan and Ronan Kelly. Also Niall Fitzgerald, Ross Doherty, Jack Canning and David Keys. We also had Sean Clifford, Ben Garvey, Peter Meehan and Danny Cronin. Drew Jake, Adam Fox, Glenn Mulligan, Harry McCormick and Josh Parks. Also Shane Hart, Lee McMahon, Rhys Wallace, Archie Folan and Nathan O'Doherty. Next is the Student Council Awards, and these were won this year by Rabin Pilani, Niall McMorrow, David Muldoon and Nathan McCardle. The Young Economist of the Year this year, who won a bronze medal, was Oscar Mulligan. Next is the International Microsoft Specialist, second overall winner in Europe, that was Jeffrey Hession. The music awards next go to Owen Griffin, Dara McDonough, Charlie McKenna, Elijah Garcia, Jericho De Los Santos, Andrew Connell, Lorcan Feeney, Ronan Hensey, Zach McLaughlin, Rory Mulligan, Caelan Mulligan, Carl Byrne and Jack Feeney. For the Gashga Awards next, the winners were Ronan Gray, Olin Martin, James Burns and Dara O'Boyle. And for the final part of our ceremony today, we have the award for the special contribution to Summerhill, and the award winners this year are Edward McDonough, Pádraig Cawley and Eamon Feely. All that remains for us to do is to thank you all for watching, and again to congratulate all of the award recipients today. Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.